Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast Special Edition Series, my 2024-25 college basketball season predictions show. Part 1 is going to be the ACC, the Big East, the Big-12, the Big-10, and the SEC. Part 2, the ACC, or the AAC, the 8-10, the Mountain West, and the West Coast Conference. Part 3 will be Sun Belt, the Mid-American Conference, USA, and the Missouri Valley Conference. Every other conference will be in Part 4, and miscellaneous and futures will be Part 5. All right, so we'll start the ACC. In the first place, I have the Duke Blue Devils. Obviously, Cooper Flagg comes in. John Shire's proven to be a really good basketball coach. They have other guys, Kamal Malik, Isaiah Evans, and Con Newpol, and a couple veterans in Tyrese Proctor and Caleb Foster, so they should be the team to beat there. Second place, I have North Carolina, the Tar Heels. Everybody's pick for player of the year in the conference is R.J. Davis. They have some other guys, Cade Tyson coming from Belmont, Vandy transfer, Van Allen Lubin. Hubert Davis, I think, has proven to be a good head coach so far, but I do think that he still has some doubters out there. Third, I have the Clemson Tigers. I think Clemson's underrated. I think their coach, Brad Brunwell, has coached himself off the hot seat each and every year, and he gets somehow thrown back on it. So it's a good team, Clemson. And it's going to be interesting. Chase Hunter, obviously, from Clemson, still there. You also have Salas coming back to school as well. Coming in fourth, I have Wake Forest. I think that Steve Forbes is under pressure to get them to the NCAA tournament. I think that they're going to be a good team. Two of the top 5 scorers are back. Cam Hildreth and Elton Reed, and then obviously Hunter Salas back as well. And for Clemson, I meant to say PJ Hall, not Salas. Coming in fifth, I have the Miami Hurricanes. I think Miami is due to bounce back. I like Jim Larinaga, good coach. Lance Kidd comes from Virginia Tech. I think they're poised for a bounce back season. Coming in sixth, I have the Pitt Panthers. I like Jeff Capel. He's a good coach. They have some good players on that team. Coming in seventh, I have the Virginia Cavaliers. I just think Virginia, without Tony Bennett, is headed for a disappointing season. Coming in eighth, I have the NC State Wolfpack. I think NC State's a little bit overrated by the media. I don't know if they're going to make the tournament or not. Ninth, I have Notre Dame. And they have a good coach in Micah Shrewsbury. I don't know if they're going to be a tournament team right away. And we'll see. Maybe they make the NIT. 10th, I have the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Damon Stoudemire, year 2. Coming in 11th, I have the Louisville Cardinals. I got to be honest with you about Louisville. I don't see them turning it around right away. I mean, maybe they pick off a couple teams, but I don't see it. And I like Pat Kelsey, but it's going to be a while. 12, I have the Syracuse Orange. I don't think Syracuse is going to be good either. Adrian Autry, not bad in his first year. 13th I have SMU. I don't love this SMU team with its move to the ACC. 14th I have Florida State. I like Leonard Hamilton, but I just don't think that they're going to be among the best teams in the conference this year. 15th, Virginia Tech. Mike Young, I think that program has kind of slipped the last couple of years. 16th, I have Stanford. Moved from the Pac-12. I don't see it with them. They have a new coach, Kyle Smith, who they hired from Washington State. 17th, I have Cal. Mark Madsen's in year 2. Again, I don't like the conference move for them. I think it's going to be a transition. And at the bottom, I have Boston College. And I don't think they're going to be any good either. Player of the year, I'm going with R.J. Davis in North Carolina. Best player in the conference. On a really good team. Freshman of the year, Cooper Flagg, Duke. Coach of the year, I'm going with Brad Burnwell of Clemson. All right, Big East. Big East is going to be a fun conference. It was good last year. I think it's going to be good again this year. Coming in first, of course, I have the UConn Huskies. I have to do it. UConn doubted me last year. Alex Caravan's back. They have so many other guys, and they have a good freshman coming in Liam McNeely. Dan Hurley's the best coach in the world. Coming in second, I have Xavier. This Xavier team's pretty good. I like Sean Miller. He's an excellent coach. Zach Fremantle's finally back. Drum Hunter, Davion McKnight, good team. Third place, I have Creighton, the Blue Jays of Creighton. This Creighton team is pretty good. Ryan Kalkbrenner is awesome, the big guy. And they have a really good coach in McDermott as well. Coming in fourth, I have the St. John's Red Storm. They should have made the tournament last season, but the committee chose not to put them in. I think that Rick Pitino's going to have a big chip on his shoulder, as will his players. Coming in fifth, I have Marquette. This Marquette team, to me, isn't as good as people think. Tyler Kolek's gone. But I do like Shaka Smart. He's a really good coach. Sixth, I have Providence. Providence always hangs around. 21 games they won last year, but they did make the tournament. I won't be shocked if they make it back this year. And I like Bryce Hopkins. He's a good player. Coming in seventh, I have Villanova. I just don't think that Villanova's a blue blood school right now. Cal Neptune is the coach on the hottest seat for me in all the sport. And to me, they're a mid-team in a good league. Bottom half team. Eighth, I have Butler. Butler's okay. I like Thad Matta, good coach. They have some nice pieces. Ninth, I have Georgetown. Ed Cooley, year 2. Maybe they surprise some people. He should improve from 9 wins last year. 10th, I have Seton Hall. Shane Holloway did a good job last year, but I just think they've been passed by a lot of teams in the league. And in 11th, I have DePaul, who's obviously the worst and will always be the worst. Player of the year, I'm going with Ryan Kalkbrenner of Creighton. He's just a double-double machine. Coach of the year, I'm going with Scott Miller of Xavier. I think Sean Miller gets a lot out of his team. And freshman of the year, I'm going with Liam McNeely of UConn. All right, Big 12. Interesting year for the Big 12. No Texas or Oklahoma. All right, so in first place I have the Houston Cougars. Yes, I'm going with Houston. They bring a lot back, and Kelvin Sampson, I think, is arguably the best coach in the conference, although some might say it's Bill Self, although Bill Self didn't win a national title recently. But it's between Kelvin and Bill, obviously, and obviously Bill has the scansions stuff, which really hasn't been resolved yet. And L.J. Cryer, Javon Roberts, Emmanuel Sharp, and I get a transfer in Milos Uzan. In second place, I have the Kansas Jayhawks. They came in 5th last year in the league. I think they'll be better than that. Hunter Dickinson back. DeJuan Harris Jr., AJ Storr, Zeke Mayo. Really good team. Third, I have the Iowa State Cyclones. This is a good team. Keyshawn Gilbert, Tamin Lipsey, Milan Maklovic. And they have an outstanding coach. Coming in 4th, I have the Baylor Bears. I like this Baylor team too. Langston Love, Josh Ojabuna. And they have a really good coach in Scott Drew. 5th, I have the Arizona Wildcats. Caleb Love's back, but they're in a tougher conference. Tommy Lloyd's a really good basketball coach. Some transfers coming in. 6th, I have the Kansas State Wildcats. I like this Kansas State team. I like Jerome Tang. They just didn't, make the tournament last year. So they should be better with some transfers coming in. 7th, I have the Cincinnati Bearcats. A lot of people like Cincinnati. I think they disappoint because of the conference they're in. They were in the American still. I think they would have been the team to beat. But I like Wes Miller. Decent roster. I don't know why they're 24th in the preseason poll. 8th, Texas Tech. I like this Texas Tech team, but again, wrong conference. They have a lot of nice pieces, and I like Grant McClass when he's a good coach. 9th, BYU. Again, tough league. I think they're going to miss Mark Pope, at least this year. I don't think they're a tournament team. 10th, I'm going to say the TCU Horned Frogs. A lot of turnover there. I have UCF in 11th. They really made it interesting in that league last year, but maybe they make the NIT. 12th, I have Arizona State. Bobby Hurley's now in this league. But again, tough conference. I don't see them making the tournament. 13th, West Virginia. They have a new coach. Darian DeVries comes over from Drake. Really big hire for them. But I don't think they're going to be good right away. 14th, I have Oklahoma State. So Steve Lutz is now their new coach, and they have some turnover going too. 15th, I have Colorado. Tough conference with coming from the Pac-12. And in 16th, I have Utah. Same deal. but they both have good coaches. Player of the Year, I'm going Hunter Dickinson of Kansas. Coach of the Year, Kelvin Sampson of Houston. Freshman of the Year, VJ Edgecombe of Baylor. All right, the Big 10, which is obviously a much larger league than it used to be. Coming in first place, I have the Indiana Hoosiers. Yes, I did not go with the favorite in Purdue. I decided to go with, they have a really good group of guys. And to me, Mike Woodson has to get a lot out of this team. This is another coach that's on the hot seat. They get Omar Ballo, Luke Good, Kenyon Carlisle, and then they bring back Trey Galloway and Malik Renault and Mackenzie Mgako. So they're a great team on paper. I think they can do it. Second, I Purdue. I think they're going to miss Zach Edey. If Zach Edey came back to school, I would have picked him first, but he's not back in school. They have a guy that could win Conference Player of the Year in Braden Smith. And Fletcher Lawyer and Trey Coffin Renner back as well. And Matt Painter's a good coach. And he finally made a national title game. But somebody say, oh, that's because of Edey. Gotta follow it up. All right, third, I have UCLA. I think that UCLA in the Big Ten, at least this year, will be good. If the little Pac-12 still existed, either them or Arizona probably would have been the favorite. But I like this UCLA team a lot. Mick Cronin's a good coach. They should be better. So Dylan Andrews, Sebastian Mack, they added some transfers that's going to help. Fourth place, I have Illinois. This Illinois team is pretty good. Ty Rogers is back, but they get a lot of transfers to come in to help them. In fifth, I have Michigan State. Tom Izzo's still there, obviously. And I don't know if this team is going to be as good as I think, or they could be better or worse. This is a hard team to slate. Xavier Booker, they're banking on to break out there. Sixth, I have Oregon. Oregon probably would have been like third or fourth in the old Pac-12. Jackson Shellstad's a guy they're relying on. Kwame Evans Jr., and of course they have a great coach in Dana Altman. Seventh, I have Rutgers. I like this Rutgers team a lot, but they're just in a loaded conference. If they were in the ACC, maybe I would have picked them like fourth. I mean, the Big Ten's really good. And Rutgers, I think, could finish higher than seventh. That'd be great for the podcast if they did. They obviously have Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey, but they lose Clifford Amore, but that's okay. I think those two freshmen will make up for that, and that Jeremiah Williams is back as well. And they have a really good coach as well. Coming in eighth, I have the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ohio State, some have them higher than what I have them, but I think they're going to be a decent team. So Jack Diebler got promoted after they fired Chris Holtmann. Bruce Thornton's back and brought in a lot of transfers. Coming in ninth, I have Michigan. Dusty May, I think it's going to take some time for him to get settled. It's like Pat Kelsey at Louisville and even DeVries at West Virginia. It's kind of like the same thing at Michigan. But I do like Dusty May, but I don't think they're a tournament team yet. 10th, the Maryland Terrapins. So Kevin Willard's a good coach, but brutal conference. So Julian Reese is still there and a lot of new guys. 11th, I have the Iowa Hawkeyes. Peyton Stanford's back. And then Owen Freeman, they're banking on to break out. 12th, I have Wisconsin. Wisconsin is usually a good program. They're not the blue blood they used to be. Greg Gard's still there. AJ Store's gone, which is brutal, and that's why I don't have them in the tournament this year. 13th, I have Nebraska. Nebraska had a good season, but I think they take a step back, which is unfortunate for Fred Hoiberg. 14th, I have USC. I think they're going to be a disappointment. I think the move to the Big Ten will hurt them in basketball like it's hurt them in football. And Eric Musselman, I like Eric Musselman. But I think it's going to take time. 15th, I have Washington. Another team that I think is going to be hurt by the move early. They have a new coach as well. But we'll see how long it's going to take. 16th, I have Northwestern. Northwestern has been in the tournament back-to-back years, but Boo Booey's gone, which is unfortunate. But they have a really good coach in Chris Collins. And maybe they surprise us a little bit. 17th, I have Penn State. Alec Baldwin Jr. is on this team. Mike Rhodes is a good coach, but I don't see a path. And then the bottom, I have Minnesota. Minnesota hasn't made the tournament since 2019 when Rich Pitino was there. Dawson Garcia is a good player, but I don't think it'll be enough. Player of the year in the Big Ten, I'm going with Braden Smith of Purdue. Coach of the year, Mike Woodson at Indiana. Freshman of the year, Dylan Harper of Rutgers. And now the SEC, which I think is going to be a really good league as well. Without further ado, here we go. First place, I have Alabama. I think Alabama's going to win this conference, potentially by multiple games. Mark Sears is back. Grant Nelson's back. They have an excellent coach in Nate Oates. This is a national title contender, in my opinion. And the irony is that I think over the next couple of years, as long as Oates is there, they may have more success in basketball than football, depending on how the football team does, ironically enough. But yeah, this is going to be a great year for Alabama basketball, and I think they're going to be in play for a 1 seed. In second, I have Auburn. Johnny Broome and Dylan Cardwell are back. They have a good coach in Bruce Pearl. And then they have some good transfers as well. Third place, I have Arkansas. I think John Calipari is going to surprise a lot of people in his first year at Arkansas. Trayvon Brazil's back, and then he got DJ Wagner comes over from Kentucky. Boogie Fland, they have, and Janelle Davis from Florida Atlantic comes over. So I think Arkansas is going to be a really good team. Fourth place, I have Tennessee. Tennessee was a contender for a while. I think they drop off a little bit. I like their coach, Rick Barnes, but they do get the guy Ziegler back, which is huge, and Jemai Meshack. Coming in fifth, I have the Florida Gators. I think Florida's going to be better than some think. Walter Clayton's back. And I like Todd Golden. He's a good coach. Coming in sixth, I have Texas A&M. A&M, I think, is a little bit overrated. I like Buzz Williams. He's been there for 6 years already. Getting good players in the portal will help. Seventh, I have Ole Miss. I like Chris Beard. I think that they are going to be better. They might make the tournament. I know they started 13-0, but they end up missing the tournament. Same thing happened to South Carolina a long time ago. They started off undefeated and didn't make the tournament, and then the next year they made the Final Four, which is crazy. 8th, I have Mississippi State. Chris Jans is a very good basketball coach. They get Josh Hubbard, a couple transfer guards coming in as well. 9th, I have Texas. I think Texas is going to disappoint in year one, the SEC. I think the conference move hurts them this year. I liked Rodney Terry in the run he had 2 years ago. But if they flop again, there's going to be some loud chatter about hot seat for him. But they do have some guys coming back. 10th, I have Kentucky. I think Kentucky's going to be a huge disappointment this year with Cal gone. I like Mark Pope, but I just think that this might be like a 500 team in the conference, if not potentially worse. I don't think they're going to make the tournament. 11th, I have South Carolina. South Carolina, they're an interesting program. They were good last year. They were good, but I think they take a step back. So they have some good players that I like. Coming in 12th, I have Georgia. So Georgia is an interesting team. Mike White's there. Some transfers coming in. And they fell apart at the end of last season, too. It's kind of like Ole Miss. In 13th, I have Missouri. So Dennis Gates, decent coach. They do get some transfers coming in and old five-star prospects from other teams as well. 14th, LSU. So Matt McMahon did a nice job last year. But I just think that the conference is better. And a lot of transfers coming in and out. 15th, Oklahoma, transfer from the Big-12, obviously. And they've yet to reach the tournament under Porter Moser, which is crazy. So, is Porter Moser a hot seat coach? Maybe. And 16th, Vanderbilt. I think Vanderbilt's easily the worst team in this league. They could surprise, but I don't see it. All right, player of the year, I'm going with Mark Sears of Alabama. Coach of the year, I'm going with, of course, John Calipari of Arkansas. I think that guy's going to have a big chip on his shoulder. And freshman of the year, Trey Johnson at Texas, although I don't feel strongly about that one. So there you have it for part one of the 2024-25 college basketball season predictions podcast. Next up will be part two, which is going to be the American, Mountain West, the A10, and the WCC.